Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to review South Park Season 25, Episode 5, Help, My Teenager Hates Me. And it's funny that this episode happened to be on this week because I just got through watching an X Files episode where it was also about like teenage guys playing video games. So it's kind of like the same theme, making fun of teenagers. Anyway, last episode was phenomenal. It was A plus 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 plus. It'll always be great. This episode, I am very weird. This is the problem when you have a vast array of knowledge about movies and TV is that sometimes you'll see things that are so similar that you say like, oh, that's weird, like that must be copied. Because this episode, I'm not going to say that it's copying because I don't really think, but it's really weird. And I challenge you to watch the King of the Hill episode and then watch this and then tell me that it's not similar. So, I have seen the King of the Hill series a million times. All the way through. Watched it with Safi, I watched it myself, I watched it two more times, all the way through over the years. And there's this one episode called The Man Who Shot Kane Scruttleberg, and it's it's really bizarre because this episode was literally like a remake of that episode. I thought that was the weirdest thing ever because this whole episode, at first I was like, this episode, it has a very early 2000s feel. Like, if you had told me this, aside the little agenda joke near the end, but aside that, if you told me this episode came out in the 2000s, I would have believed you. Because it's a very 2000s thing to make fun of teenagers like this. Like, it reminds me of uh, Roddy from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the brother, the way that they make fun of him and all of his teenage friends. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just making an observation, an objective observation. And it's literally the King of the Hill episode is Booby and Joseph and I think Connie. I can't remember. They want to go to the fun center, fun center, fun center, fun center, fun center, and they want to play paintball in there. And the only trouble is that you have all these teenagers there, especially one guy named Kane Scruttleberg, and they're a bunch of jackasses, a bunch of mean, moody, just teenagers, and they go up against the kids and they keep on beating them, and not only beating them but like torturing them, forcing them to eat dirt, as Bobby says. He's like, Dad, he made me eat dirt. And so what happens is that there's all these ways that the parents try to intervene to stop them, and then at the end of the episode, the parents actually suit up and fight the teenagers so that they'll leave the kids alone. Does it sound familiar? I think so. So if I mean that's this episode. That's this episode with just a few little tweaks. That is this episode, and it's not like carbon copy. It's not exact copy, but I just thought like, what the f, like I had to like shake my head around. Like, am I in the Twilight Zone, or I guess in the South Park zone? It's fine with me. Like, it would be interesting to watch them back to back as like a fun TV double feature, to just watch the two episodes and have a little party with like some fucking ramen. But I will say I love this episode. I laughed throughout the entire thing. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. I thought that this was actually almost as funny as last week's episode. And there were just so many great jokes with the teenagers. You know what else this episode reminded me of, too? It reminded me of one of my other favorite recent episodes where I can't remember what it was called, but it was about Mark Zuckerberg coming to South Park, and he just keeps on like invading people's like houses, and he goes up to them at restaurants and just eats their food, and just says these like robotic phrases. That's what this reminded me of, with the way that you have the kids, they play with the teenagers, and then the teenagers start invading their lives, interrupting their sleep, just causing all this trouble. And it reminded me of that. And so I love that actually, because it's like, I love that joke, the way that these characters, they just don't care about these people, and they just come in and they're like, yeah, I need to use your bathroom, Cartman. And they and you know what he's doing in the bathroom. And that was another great thing, was they did the same thing that they did in last week, where they had a joke, and they built on the joke. First, you have the guy, he uses Cartman's bathroom. Then Cartman's in the store talking about how he uses up all the lotion. And then you show him after knowing about the lotion thing in the camping. And then later on, you see him actually in the bathroom doing it with the lotion. And then Cartman obviously fucks his shit up. And so that was funny, the fact that they did that, where they build on the joke. That's a great thing. It's really effective to build on one joke, and to not just like repeat it, but to build on it. And other than that, obviously this episode was great. It was very entertaining. A little tiny creative touches, little tiny creative things, like with the near the end, where I love how Randy, he gets a container of a jar of wait, what was it? Oh shit, I can't remember which special it was. I was gonna say vaccination special, but he took some weed from his farm, and he puts the jar in the middle of the war zone, and then a teenager's lured out to it, and boom, there's a grenade thrown at the area. I just love the little creative touches like that. But there was a little cringy agenda line near the end about how, like, the police won't shoot you unless you are black, and the gun, the fake airsoft gun, doesn't have a orange tip on it. I kind of thought that was a little queer, but I know that they probably couldn't resist. So, like, I don't really care, honestly. Like, just one little line, just one little throwaway line, that doesn't really like ruin the whole episode. In fact, I actually lived near where that happened, where there was someone in Walmart with a toy gun, and then that happened. And so that's another reason why I don't really care about them putting that line in there, because it's awful that would happen to anyone, regardless of their skin color. So I give this episode, it's I don't want to just give out A's. And it's also weird how similar it is to that King of the Hill episode. But still, I gotta give it an A minus. I gotta, because it was still really entertaining, really really funny, the whole episode. So yeah, A minus. I love the teenage jokes. Yeah, great episode, despite my couple of flaws. So please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought about the episode. And I know there are people who are going to talk about that line. I just know that that's the only thing they're going to talk about, even though the episode is, it's 25, it's like, yeah, 25 minutes. And that's just like 10 seconds out of the 25-minute episode. And then please subscribe. if you'd like to see more South Park reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.